Welcome to your Excel video tutorials. Hopefully you have a good idea of how to create a workbook. So I'm going to show you in this first video how to navigate through a workbook and how to enter some labels and values and work with rows and columns. So let's get started. Make sure we start on a blank Word document. Hopefully you're familiar with some of the terminology and the appearance of the Excel workbook, but I'm just going to go over a couple things. Just make sure that when you're clicked in cells, you have the name box here that says the exact cell you're clicked in. So when I click in E7, I know it is because it says here in the name box. When I type values in a cell, it's going to show up in the formula bar as well as the active cell. So the formula bar, it might show up, we might change something when we get to this stuff over here with currency or dates, but it will still show up with the actual number or the actual formula in the formula bar. When I have you select a range, make sure you start in the middle of the initial cell I'm saying. So if I said select B2 through C10, you start in the middle of B2 and then you would click and drag down through C10. So B and C are highlighted here and then 2 through 10. Again, so I might refer to this as a cell reference or an active cell, and you can always check the name box as well. Again, don't forget the formula bar, and the ribbon looks very similar to a Word document. This entire thing is a workbook, so we could have multiple sheets saved to a workbook. For the most part, we usually stick to just one sheet. Also with navigating, make sure you can use your arrows, up, down, left, right. A lot of times I have you do the return key to go down or hit the tab key to go to the right. So just a little bit of review. Let's go ahead and file save as. Make sure you have an Excel folder now saved to your desktop. Remember, if the save dialog box is small, go ahead and click this arrow so you can find your path. I do not have one, but you should have an Excel folder on here. And this assignment we are creating has to do with kites and names of kites and how much they cost. So we're going to save this as kite sales forecast. So we are determining the future sales for these kites. Go ahead and save, and let's just get started by entering some values in the cells. So in cell A1, type product and hit the tab key. Net price, tab key, and year 1 units. After we do that, go ahead and press return, and it automatically returns and jumps down to the same column we started in. So some of the product names here, these are some of the kites. Go ahead and hit the downward arrow or the return key. Alright, so notice that these in column A overlap in column B. I'm going to get there when we enter our rows and columns, but just to let you know, when some people want to start typing, I'm about to start typing some numbers, they think, oh, I have to skip B because I have things overlapping. But when I click in the letters or the column A cells, you can see in the formula bar where the information is. Now when it overlaps into column B and I click, there's nothing there. So we're going to adjust that. So even though it looks like there's something in column B, it is empty. So I'm going to go ahead and start writing some prices. One other thing besides tabbing or pressing the return key to actually enter the value, there is an enter sign. The difference is when you hit enter, it stays in that same exact cell. And then you would navigate somewhere else to type. And the units for year one, same thing. Let's enter and then navigate down. Now you can use your enter tab arrows to fill out the rest of this stuff here as we put in the rest of the values. All right, so there is our information for the table. Let's do some formatting now. If I want to ever change the complete value of something, I would click on the cell, and don't do this, I'm just demonstrating, but I would click on the cell and notice once I typed, it got rid of everything. So when you want to just edit something, instead of clicking on it once and typing, you want to double click to make the cell active, and then you can go ahead and edit it there. So we decided to change the name from Tornado Twirler to Tornado Trickster. So go ahead and type that and click the enter key. Again, this isn't cut off. We're going to adjust the columns here in just a second. With this information now, I want my column A to be wider. I could click, and right now it's a width of 10. When you click down between the boundaries of the columns, it shows you the exact width of the column to the left. These are called the column headings, A, B, C, the alphabet. The numbers are called the row headings. So anytime it asks you to click on a column heading or a row heading, you have to physically click right on top. I'm going to go right between A and B. I could just click and drag to the right and give it the width that I would like, but another way to do it is to double click on the column boundaries, and that's an auto adjustment. So let's go ahead and double click between A and B, and it automatically adjusts the column width. Let's go ahead and add a couple extra rows to give this table a title. So if I want to insert above, below, whatever it may be, in this case I want to insert above. So go ahead and click right on row 1 heading, and I'm going over here to insert, and I want to do 2 new rows. So I'm going to click on this twice, insert sheet rows twice. So now I have 2 blank new rows, and let's give this a title. All right, year 1 kite product sales forecast. So another thing we can do is, again, between the rows. We do not have to always double click, but we can give it an exact height. So I would like you to click between 2 and 3, and right now it's at 16. I want you to make it exactly 24. So that is the height of row 2. Another way to check that, just in case, is to go to Format, Row Height, and there it is. Did I do 27? Let's do 24. I must have messed up there. Let me check again. 24. Yes. Okay. So 2 ways to check it. Drag it, or you can go to Format, Row Height, and just make sure it's that same height.